Hey everyone, this is Tom. I am so excited that you're back to learn a little bit more about design thinking. Today, I'll be talking about one of the tools that is critical to use in the design thinking process to help bring the customer and the end user for life so that they can serve as a source of inspiration for the design team as they try to solve the problem on that customer's behalf. Before I dive into talking about the persona, I want to rewind a little bit and just remind you of some of the activities that had happened up to this point in the design process. So the team, in order to better understand the customer, they've gone out and they've conducted what's called ethnographic research. And they're going out, and whether through fly-on-the-wall observation or through deep dive interviewing, they're interacting with the customers and end users to better understand the experiences that they've had with the organization. As they are listening to these stories, they are trying to identify things in the experiences that they could dive deeper on. And they're trying to not understand what happened, but maybe why it happened and what that experience felt like for that individual. And as these stories are collected, the design team is bringing them back to the whole group, and they work as a collective unit to unpack all these observations and these conversations using a tool called the empathy map. And the empathy map is a very visual tool that helps to summarize what was said during the interviews, what activities were occurring, or what was the storyteller doing in the interviews. Also, what was that person's tone, body language, maybe cadence of their voice during the interviews, as well as in the story they were sharing, what were they thinking and what were they feeling. It's a really powerful tool to help kind of synthesize all the information that was gathered from the interviews. But it's not really actionable information, it's just insightful. In order to help that information be useful in the next steps of ideating and prototyping, coming up with ideas for improvement or innovations to solve the customer's problem, and then testing those things, you need to be able to connect really closely to who is the person I'm designing for. So the tool that fits right in between empathy mapping and brainstorming or creative thinking is the persona. The persona is a visual map that lays out important information about the customer and the end user. Oftentimes you'll see on the persona at the very top is an alias. And this information really just helps to quickly communicate and describe who this end user is that we're getting to learn more about. So the persona itself, it's a semi-fictitious character, an archetype that's derived from the empathy maps, either from one map, you met an individual that was quite unique in their belief systems or their circumstances that required them to have their own persona created. Or maybe you met a variety of people who had some overlap in their experiences, their circumstances, or maybe even their belief systems, and they become a key segment that you're able to personify as well. So personas could have a one-to-one relationship or a one-to-many relationship. But on the persona, you really want to provide information that allows the designer, even the organization, to quickly connect to who is this person and what's important to them. And some key elements on the persona that helps to do that is the backstory. This is a summary of the experience that the individual had. Also, in that story, it's important to pull out some powerful quotes or impactful things that the customer said that really helps to motivate or quickly engage and increase an understanding of what's important to this customer. So quotes is a great way to do that. Another component of the persona that's helpful to quickly connect to who this person is some demographic information. Maybe not their specific age, but maybe their age range or their generation, their race, or maybe their work history or education background. It's not prescriptive. It's all going to be based on really what's the customer's facts or informations that the organization is most interested in, those tend to govern the demographic information that's included on the persona. So great summary type snapshot of who this customer is. And it's all just informational at this point. And it's helpful to kind of know the backstory, but it doesn't really help you connect as easily to, how does this person think, act, and behave? And the thing on the persona template that really helps to bring that to life, especially for me, is the thing I call the circuit board. So oftentimes on the persona, either in the sidebars or down at the bottom, you'll see a series of traits or habits or behaviors that are kind of listed out. And the circuit board, for example, will take a specific behavior and maybe on that scale from low to high, just show where that persona falls on that spectrum. So you can do a circuit board based on one characteristic from low to high, or maybe on the circuit board, you'll see a comparison of two polar traits and maybe where the persona sits on that spectrum to help quickly know, okay, where is this person in regards to this trait or behavior? And maybe an example of that could be on one side of the spectrum is an outgoing, energetic person to maybe a wallflower, right? And on that scale, you may see that this specific persona fits maybe more of the wallflower type of behavior, or maybe they're in the middle. But to me, listing out all the various traits that are occurring for this group of customers. So you can have a circuit board that's similar and consistent across all your different personas, and it kind of allows you then to look at how these personas are similar or different or unique, and really get to connect quickly to really what makes this person tick. And I think that information on the persona is what makes it so actionable.